Hey y'all, this is Itzel. I am the college advisor from Fremont and Castlemont. Today I will be going over college options as the monthly lunch workshop for February 2022. So please stick around, watch the video to learn about how to choose the right college for you and learn about different factors that you should be considering. And please remember to fill out the Google form that is attached to this video. So I just want to go over some reminders and some announcements. So for my seniors, just to remind you guys, the FAFSA financial aid application is due March 1st. This is something that you should have already completed with your advisor. This is something that should have been done a long time ago. It has been open since October 1st. But if you haven't done so, please contact your advisor as soon as possible because the application can be time consuming. So if you haven't done so already, please do so. The application is due in about 2 weeks. So please do so ASAP. Again, moving on to the seniors, or addressing the seniors, the Oakland Promise Scholarship is due on March 7th for my Oakland students. Again, this is something that you guys should have already started working on. If you guys are still not finished, please do so as soon as possible. If you guys need to have any of your essays proofread, please send them over to your advisor. Please let us know so we can help you. Again, this is due on March 7th. Don't wait until the last minute to submit your application. There could be Wi-Fi issues. There could be a lot of other students submitting this application, so please start as soon as possible. Our next field trip will be on Saturday the 26th. We will be going to the Museum of Illusions and just roaming around Pier 39. If you're interested in attending, please again contact your advisor. Permission slips should be getting sent out. You should be receiving permission slips. You should be receiving the Google form for you to fill out your name, your parents' information, and your guys' email so we can send over those permission slips. And then just a reminder, this monthly lunch workshop counts as your contacts for the month. So remember, participating 3 or more times in the program, you receive your monthly stipend. So if you only participate twice, I'm sorry, but you will not get the monthly stipend. So participation means checking in with your advisor. You could attend a Saturday Academy. You can attend a field trip. This monthly lunch workshop counts as a form of contact. So just remember to be in contact, be participating in the program at least 3 times a month to be receiving that stipend every single month. Lastly, please check if you're receiving upward bound text messages and emails. We do reach out to you guys with different forms of contact or different ways. I know that I text my students directly from my cell phone. Sometimes I'll use Remind. Sometimes I use a student access number. So just make sure you're receiving our text, our emails. If you haven't heard from anything from us in a while, please reach out. There is a high chance that maybe we don't have your correct contact information, or maybe we don't have you in the system to be receiving our text messages and emails. So please stay on top of that. So moving on, I want you guys to think about what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of college. Actually think about this because this is one of the questions on the Google form. So when you think of college, what do you think of? You know, you guys are in high school. What's the first thing that pops up in your head when you hear the word college? And second, think about some of the factors that you might consider when picking a college. What is important to you? Do you want to go to a college based on location? Do you want to go to a college based on an area of study that you're interested in? What are some things that you consider when picking a college? So, some factors to consider for all my seniors right now that are receiving their acceptance letters and need help narrowing down what is their top 2, top 3 schools, or narrowing down what school you actually want to attend in the fall. These are some great factors to consider. First, location. Okay, you want to consider where the school is. You want to consider what type of school, what type of college is it. You want to consider the cost. The cost is a really big one. How much financial aid are you receiving? How much does the school cost per semester, per year? Think about the academics, minor and majors, areas of study, and then think about the size of the school. Okay, so I will go a little bit more in depth about each factor. So location is a very important factor to consider. So you want to think about, do you want to stay close to home, or would you like to go a bit farther, right? So, sometimes many of us are like, oh yeah, I want to go away from home. I want my own independence. But, when you're actually getting your acceptance letters, is this something you really want? Do you really want to go far? Or a lot of you might want to stay home. You don't want to, or stay close to home. You don't want to go too far, right? During your senior year, is that something that you really want to do, right? Also consider the area. So are the colleges that you're applying to, is the college that is your top choice? What kind of setting is it in? Is it in a big city? Is it a small city? Is it a college town? Chico is considered a college town, right? San Francisco is in a big city. Sonoma is in a very small city, right? There's not much to do, or very little activities going on, right? But for example, if you go to San Jose State, you're in the middle of downtown, so you're in more urban areas. So thinking of the setting, thinking of what would you do on the weekend, what can you do after school, jobs, things like that are things to consider, okay? So another factor that you might want to consider is the type of school you want to attend. Do you want to attend a public school? Do you want to attend a private school? So public schools are state-funded universities. They're usually cheaper than private schools. Within public universities, we have the CSU and UC system. There are 23 CSUs in California and 9 UCs. Some examples of CSUs are Sac State, CSU East Bay, San Jose State, San Francisco State, CSU Long Beach, San Diego State. There's a variety of CSUs all over California. With UCs, we have UC Berkeley, UC Davis, UC Santa Cruz, UC San Diego, UC LA. So depending on your preference, these are things you might want to consider. Private universities are generally more expensive. There are all types of private universities. There's universities that are based on, liberal arts. Could be private universities that are based on religion. So one thing to keep in mind, our very own Holy Names University is a private school. But many people think that to go to Holy Names, you have to be religious, you have to be Catholic, and that is not true. You can attend one of these private universities without following what they encompass. So, like I said, Holy Names is a Catholic school, but you don't have to be Catholic to attend. Same with St. Mary's, Santa Clara University. Stanford is another private. So just looking into the programs, looking into the schools, seeing what they offer, and seeing if that's the right school for you. But again, maybe you do want to go to a public and not a private, or maybe you want to go to a private and not a public, right? And lastly, we have our community colleges. Our community colleges are 2-year colleges. So 2-year colleges are great, right? You go to community college for 2 years, and then you transfer to either a CSU, a UC, whatever your preference is. Is a community college something you want to do right after high school? Do you want to take a year off and then attend community college? Do you want to go to community college right after high school? So just figuring out what works best for you and what type of school you want to go to is things that you should be considering when picking the right college for you. Now moving to academics and retention rate. So something that you should be considering when you're applying to schools to begin with is, does it offer your major or minor? So the area of study that you're interested in, right? So you really want to go to UC Berkeley, right? But does it have the area of study that you're interested in? Does it offer courses that you're interested in? You might want to do some research. Or say you got accepted to Sonoma State, but they don't have the area of study you're interested in. They don't have the minor that you were hoping to get. So these are things to consider, right? You don't want to go to a school that you were really excited to, I don't know, do something in criminal justice, and they don't really have anything in criminal justice, or their program is not really good in criminal justice. So these are things to consider when picking the college that you want to attend. Another thing you want to look at is the retention rate. So how many students are graduating, right? Are they graduating in 4 years? Does it take them 6 years? Do generally students graduate in 5 years? Like, what does it look like? How many students are graduating? What is that percentage, right? Another thing is, how likely is that you will get a job after college? How likely is it that you will go straight into the workforce? Do students graduate and get a job right after college graduating? Do they get a job typically within 6 months? What are the percentages, right? Does it usually take about a year? Those are some things you might want to consider, right? And then, do they have the necessary resources? Will they connect you to internships? Will they connect you to other jobs? Will they have networking opportunities, right? Do they have the resources to help you graduate, help you get out to the workforce, help get your career started? Are these things that are available at this campus, right? So another really, really important factor to consider, and that you should be considering, is the cost. So we all know that college can be expensive. This is why we tell you and over again to fill out your financial aid. This is very important, right? Because we want you guys to receive as much financial aid as you guys can. So you guys want to think of how much is tuition, how much is the semester, how much is it per year, for this particular college that you're interested in, this college that you're indecisive about. How much are you going to be paying, right? And then you want to think about how much in grants are you receiving, right? How much scholarships are you receiving? Did financial aid offer you anything? Did they offer you a grant? How much is that grant? How many scholarships have you got? How much money are you receiving from these scholarships? These are all things to note down and take into consideration. And then lastly, how many loans would you take out? So I know that loans sound a bit scary, but school is really an investment. So don't think of loans as a bad thing. You really just want to pay attention to the amount of loans that you're taking out, how much each loan would be. You want to think about how much interest would be accumulated. You really just want to play smart with loans, but don't see this as the worst thing to do, right? School is an investment, and you go to school to educate yourself, get a better education, and really just get the experience you need to go into the workforce, to go into that career that you're really passionate about or that you hope to get into, right? So please don't think of loans as something bad. Again, cost is really important. Please think of the cost of school, right? So another thing you might want to consider is the size of the school, right? Do you want to go to a big campus? Do you want to go to a small campus? How many students are attending? Do you want to go to a school that has many students, that has a small class size? You know, like, how big are the classrooms? Do you want to be in a classroom with 100 people? Or would you rather be in a classroom with only 10, 15, 20 people max, right? So these are things to consider. What works best for you? What type of environment would you work best in? Size of school, really important. So here we are going to highlight some differences between small and large campuses. Just in case you don't know what type of campus you want to go to, or if you're not sure what environment works best for you. So small campuses. So you want closer relationships with professors and staff. You really want that one-on-one. A small campus is probably the best fit for you. If you want smaller size classrooms, like I said, 10 to 15, 20 max people in your classroom. You depend on frequent support and guidance from staff and professors. This is definitely a small campus. You want your professor to remember your name. You might want to attend a small campus. You don't mind if your school isn't well known. For example, a lot of our very own Oakland students don't even know Holy Names University. Why? Because it's a very small campus. You want all your classes and campus facilities close to your housing. So if you want to be able to wake up 5 minutes before your class and just walk down or walk outside in your classes like 2-3 minutes away, a small campus is for you. The school is more united, feels like a community. If you want more of a community type, small campus. And then you don't mind if there are fewer clubs, sports, and activities. Again, small schools still have clubs, sports, still a lot of involvement, a lot of things that you can do, but just fewer than a large campus. Now with large campuses, if you feel like you can work independently, you don't need to be receiving constant support from staff or professors. You don't care if the staff doesn't even know your name or doesn't have that connection with you. If you don't really mind that, then maybe a large campus is for you. Again, like I said, you don't mind not having close relationships, those connections. You don't mind for large classes, right? A lot of big campuses, a lot of the UCs, they're in auditoriums, big classes with like 100 people in these classes. Is that something that you don't mind, something you would like? You want people to recognize the college you attend, right? So UC Berkeley, people from all over come to UC Berkeley because it's a very well-known school. Or, for example, Harvard. Everybody knows Harvard, right? Do you want to go to a school that people will instantly recognize, or do you really not care about that? Then you want a college with many clubs, sports, and activities. Maybe you want to go to a college that has a lot of activities going on and you want to be a part of everything. Maybe this is good to attend a large campus. And then again, the school is united, but you don't mind finding your own community, right? You don't mind researching and going about to find your own community. And then again, you don't mind walking, biking, taking bus to class. This is a big one. A lot of the big campuses, like for example, UC Santa Cruz, our past field trip, a lot of students were interested in UC Santa Cruz until they seen how much walking it was, right? Some people have to bike to get to class. I know UC Davis is another very big campus. A lot of people bike or use scooters. So if you don't mind doing this is something you might consider when picking a college. And some other factors to consider that are also as important are housing options, right? Are you going to be staying at home with your parents? Are you going to do on-campus housing, such as the dorms? Is this even guaranteed for first-year students? Is there off-campus options for you? If you don't want to be on campus, do you have the option to live off-campus? If so, how close, how far is it to your school? Do you have to walk? Do you have to bike or bus there? Another really important thing to consider is diversity. Do you want to go to a school that's very diverse? We are all from the Bay Area. Most of us are from the Bay Area. And, we grew up in a very diverse environment. Most of our schools are very diverse. Is this something that you want to continue to do so in college? Do you want to attend a school that's inclusive? A school that has certain cultural groups that you're interested in or certain groups that you belong to? Do they offer this club group at this school? Do they have activities for this type of group that you want to be involved in, right? Another important thing is study abroad opportunities. So do you want to take a year in Germany? Do you want to study in Chile? Do you want to study in Nicaragua, right? You might want to do a semester in Europe. You might want to do a whole year in Europe. Do they have this opportunity? If so, how many study abroad options? How much do these study abroad options cost? And then another thing to consider is sports. Are you interested in going to a school that's big on sports? Do they have teams, right? Do they have a good football team, a good basketball team? the type of divisions, right? Do they have indoor sports? Maybe you're interested in indoor sports. Maybe you're interested in a sport that's not well known. Do they have it at this school, right? Or is that something that interests you that is calling your name? Greek life. Are you interested in sororities and fraternities, right? Are you interested in being a part of a group and being a part of an organization, a sisterhood, a brotherhood? Is this something that you really want to do? You know, do they have sororities? Do they have fraternities, right? Do these fraternities and sororities have volunteer experiences? Do they have connections, the ability to network with others, right? And then lastly, mental health and well-being services, right? Do they have counseling services or drop-in hours, right? Can you go somewhere on campus when you're feeling down or when you're going through a lot? Can you go on campus and talk to someone? Or do they have other support programs that you can attend and get help on, like tutoring, or you need academic help, maybe a writing center? Do they have resources for students, right? For not only mental health, but also like academic, your personal well-being? Do they have like, somewhere we could just stop by and talk to somebody, right? These are things you might want to consider when thinking about attending a college. So this is pretty much the end of our presentation. So with the Google form that you'll complete, sorry for the background noise, but you'll see this link on the Google form, or on the JOT form. I'm sorry, I keep calling it Google form. On the JOT form, you will see this link. You will use this link to get matched with different schools based on your factors that you would consider, the things that are important to you when choosing the correct college for you. So based on those factors, you will be matched with a couple of schools, and then you would include that in your JOT form, okay? So please go to this link. It shouldn't take too long, and it's also a good way to see, what are some things that you think is important after watching this presentation, after watching this video. What was the most important factor for you, right? What are some things that you might consider? So this concludes our monthly lunch workshop for February. We did a quick rundown on how to choose the right college for you, some factors that you should consider. Please complete the JOT form, and then once you do that, you will be directed to a food card survey. If you are not directed to that food card survey, please email me at the email listed, garciagonzalez@hnu.edu. If you have any questions, please text me. My number is below. I also have Kevin, the advisor mentor, on the page as well. You can reach him at that email, or you can directly email your own advisor. But like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.